Hey guys, Mars Thinking here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and I finally got the final mission done for the new Legendary Goku event missions. Funnily enough, this one did actually turn out to be the hardest. I struggled quite a bit with the representatives of Universe 7 one because my team was not really super built up. Whereas this one, I struggled quite a bit because I actually don't have the tech exchange boo. And I tried to run with him as a friend, which went fairly well, because I did find a rainbow friend come up. But unfortunately, I literally got right to the end. I think I was on what would be the final phase. And he super attacked me in slot 1 and killed me. So we ran it back. I found a rainbow physical LR Bootanks friend. So the team actually went through a ton of changes from the first attempt that I ever had. I just basically kept trying out everybody to see who would work out of the units that I had for this category. Tried out the Int Cell for the potential of getting the free heal, but not only did I not really ever manage to get the free heal, but he takes quite a lot of damage when you get further into the event, especially considering that mine only has the one dupe. So some people might be surprised to see I am running the STR Super Boo. So he's a unit that is obviously incredibly looked down upon by a lot of people, but I do think he's a little bit underrated. He's definitely not great, don't get me wrong, but after the link level update, I have mine full level 10 links, and obviously the Bootanks. The friend is Rainbow, mine is only 55%, but they're both level 10 links. So they work really well together on a rotation. And then obviously we got our boy Super 17, our mascot, the MVP. Of course we were going to run him. He's super good, especially as a slot 1 unit. And then I am running the Mirror. So funnily enough, he was on my original team build. Ever since we saw the details for the Awakening for Mirror, I thought he looked kind of cool, and I've always wanted to use him for something. But when I first tried to do a video on him when he got his Awakening, I ran him on this double Bootanks team, the Martian Power / Power Absorption, because I thought he could be pretty cool on here as a link partner for Super 17. But in a normal event with any sort of normal level of difficulty, the team heals too much, and I got like right to the end of an Infinite Dragon Ball History run and he still hadn't transformed. Whereas in this event, you kind of have the opposite problem, because before transforming he infinitely stacks his attack and defense, so in theory he's very good on this event. But once you get to turn, I think it's either 5 or 6, if you're below 60% HP, he transforms into the final form Mirror, or Super Mirror, and he no longer infinitely stacks his attack and defense. He does stack attack, and obviously he hits a lot harder, but he doesn't stack defense anymore. So the funny thing is, I think one of the reasons probably why it took me so many attempts is I have this weird sort of, not even really synergy, I guess it's kind of like the opposite of synergy, like bad RNG, I don't know, with the fact that we're running Mirror and we're running STR Super Boo, because STR Super Boo transforms when you get to turn 5 or 6, I always forget because it depends which rotation he's on, and depending on your HP, depends on the transformation you get. So if you're over 80%, it transforms into Buhan, which is what we want. If you're below 80 but above, I think it's 50, you transform into Bootanks, and then if it's below 50, you transform into Boo Piccolo. Now, Boo Piccolo and the Buhan both greatly raise their defense on super attack, so whilst the Buhan is better, I think it probably would be doable if you do get the Boo Piccolo transformation. But the range, especially because you can take so much damage from a super attack on this event, being between 50 and like 80% HP, that was actually a fairly common occurrence. And essentially, if you are going to run STR Super Boo, if he transforms and you get the Bootanks transformation, you might as well just quit and start again, because the Bootanks form, he doesn't get much defense and he doesn't raise defense on super attack. So potentially it would be possible with the right RNG, but later on, as you get to the harder stages, his defense is not going to be good enough, and you're just going to have to worry about using like extra items. And this does come right down to the wire. I think I use every item but one, simply because the final turn, if it wasn't going to be the final turn, if I didn't know for a fact I was going to finish him off on that turn, I would have had to use that last item. But fortunately we got into a good winning position, which you guys will see as we get through to the end. So the plan obviously is to super attack with the mirror as much as possible. We want to super attack with the LR Bootankses, get their 18 key supers as much as possible so that they can stack defense. The friend that I bought is a rainbow friend, full level 10 links. Like I said, he's got quite a lot of additional, so you will see throughout this run that he additional super attacks quite a lot, and we have a bit of mixed luck when we get towards the end. I did have 1 or 2 runs on this fail simply because I got right to the end and was doing fairly well, and then all of a sudden Tech Full Power Goku was just dodging everything, and so I had to keep obviously using items to keep my defenses up, and he just kind of outlasted me by keep dodging me, which was very infuriating. So on this run we obviously do get a little bit better luck overall. So if you are enjoying the video and the run today, consider smashing that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, hit that bell so you know when all these videos go up. I did do a fan category suggestion stream the other day where I took on this event with a bunch of different teams that you guys in chat suggested. I'll probably do that again soon, so keep an eye out and make sure you're subbed, and next time I do that maybe we can run a team of your choosing. So we got STR Boo is now the Buhan. His damage is fairly good. Like you can see here, we're quite early on and we have type advantage, so we're hitting pretty well and we're not taking a lot of damage. But largely that revolves around the fact that, like I said, he is greatly raising defense on his super attack. So we will actually see when we get to the final phases against the Super Saiyan 4 Goku, as long as he's not taking a super attack, he will tank normal attacks really, really well after supering. So he is pretty good, just like I was explaining. The setup for him is incredibly awkward. And then that also applies to the mirror as well. Like if you get unlucky and you take a bunch of damage super early on, and mirror transforms like literally on the bare minimum turn that he can transform, he's obviously not going to have stacked his defense up very much. And honestly, this run, we're on turn 9, he's probably super attacked, what, like 3, maybe 4 times so far at most. So honestly, during this recording, at this point, I actually thought this was too early for him to have transformed, but we can see later on he does actually tank pretty well. Obviously against the first Super Saiyan 4 phase he is int, so we have type advantage, so that obviously does help quite a lot, and we are able to hit some pretty solid numbers. He's an okay link partner for Super 17. They're obviously not the best link partners together, but one of the versions of the team I was trying to run the Android 13, and whilst he does run really well alongside Super 17, I decided to use him as an off-rotation unit on this build, because the problem is once we get right to the very end, he just takes way too much damage. I'm sorry, that's why I didn't bring him on this build, is what I was saying. He's not on this version of the team, because when you get to the Tech Full Power Super Saiyan 4 Goku at the end, whilst Android 13 is custom built for fighting against Goku events, like he gets the guaranteed crit and his attacks are guaranteed to hit, so that in theory works super well in the final phases because he can't dodge. And then obviously against the tech one, where you have type disadvantage, you're always getting crits, so you don't need to worry about the fact that you have type disadvantage. The problem is, even though mine is rainbow full level 10 links, without any items active, he gets hit for like 130k from normal attacks from the Tech Full Power Super Saiyan 4 Goku. So the problem is, as I was saying, because he can very often dodge so much in the end that he kind of outlasts your item usage, that's when you run into a serious problem, because you really can't be having a unit taking 130k from attacks and run out of items, because yeah, it's going to be bad. Now, in the same vein, we could kind of say the same thing about the AGL Boo Piccolo. So I did decide to bring him. He's a really good support unit because I liked this team ever since it was released. And I did pull a copy of the Boo Piccolo from the actual Worldwide Celebration banner. Mine is level 10 links. I think I only have 1 dupe in him. Maybe 2. But he's definitely not rainbow. He is full level 10 links. He works out quite well in this because obviously he gives a massive buff to everybody else on the team, including 50% defense, which is really, really good. It allows units like Super 17 in the later difficulties, especially against Tech Full Power Goku, before super attacking, he won't tank for double digits. He still tanks really well because that's, you know, the main thing that Super 17 is really good at, but with that Boo Piccolo on rotation, he basically always tanks for double digits, which is super good. The other thing that was going a bit sketchy with this run is I bought the physical Fat Boo, because he's actually really, really good after his EZA. I'm very impressed with how good he actually is. I remember commenting about it when I made the showcase when he got his EZA, just how surprised I was at how good he is. But the problem with him, and I was getting worried again with this run, is you need him to get hit a few times in order for him to fully max out his passive, and he just wasn't getting hit. Like, he kept ending up in the third slot on turns where the enemy was getting killed. So we don't fully build him up until a little ways into the event, but fortunately it does work out, because one of the very early runs of this that I did, I got all the way to the end and I genuinely thought I was going to win, but I was in that exact situation where the Fat Boo had pretty much been in slot 3 and never gotten to get hit for pretty much the entire event. So then when he got hit by the Tech Full Power Goku without an item active, he was taking over 100k damage. So if you're going to bring him, you definitely need to make sure he gets built up. If you're lucky enough to get him on like the first turn, even though you're fighting an STR enemy in phase 1, he is pretty weak. I would just put him in slot 1, get the hits out of the way, and then you can float him off. But the Rainbow Buhan definitely puts in work on this team, the friend. He gets multiple additional super attacks. I don't think he has a huge amount of crit in his Buhan, so while we do get a few crits here and there, we definitely get a lot more additionals. I think if I remember from looking at his equips, he has like all additional skill orbs, so I think he went a lot heavier on additional than he did on crit. But that does kind of pay off a little bit, especially in the int phase, because the Buhan is busting out those additional super attacks. He's hitting like over 6 mil with his 18 key super, and then around 4 million with the additional super attacks. So when Goku doesn't dodge him, he is actually putting out a ton of damage. And obviously Super 17, he provides target Goku allies, including himself, with 17% chance to crit. It's rolled separately from his hidden potential crit level, but it does mean he is fairly likely to get crits on a consistent basis. And then the Mirror does have the chance to additional built into his passive. I'm pretty sure I gave him mostly additional as well, because obviously pre-transformation you want him to super attack as much as possible so that he can infinitely stack. And then physical Fat Boo in the final slot here. I think these are the last couple of hits. I think he might actually be fully built up now, but at least we're in the int phase, because in the int phase you at least have a little bit of leeway because you have type advantage, but you want to make sure by the end of the int phase that Boo's passive is fully built up. So from this point on, I'm basically just trying to constantly prioritize same type orbs, because I know these last two fights can drag on for a bit. So not only is getting the free healing worth it, but I was already thinking ahead to the fact that we could potentially get a second Dokkan attack depending on how much this guy wants to dodge. So as you can see, we get a very good turn here from the friend. We get the additional normal attack from the passive, and then we get the additional super from the hidden potential, and we get crits. So the friend LR Buhan just absolutely destroying Super Saiyan 4 Goku in this phase. So very, very strong. And yeah, we're taking basically no damage. Now that Big Bad Bosses is activated with them all being Buhan, this guy hitting almost a 3 million attack stat, which, considering how old he is and how bad everybody thinks he is, nearly hitting 3 million attack stat, greatly raising your defense, so being able to tank well in an event of this difficulty level. I definitely think the STR Super Boo is a little bit overlooked, but this actually worked out super well. I remember thinking this at the time. I really didn't want to kill him on this turn, because the next turn is obviously the rotation where we have the AGL Super 17, and we were going to get Boo Piccolo floating into the third spot. So this would have been a really awkward turn to be the first turn of the Tech Full Power Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I absolutely would have had to have popped to the Whis, depending on where the attacks were, but it's very likely I probably would have had to use an item if this was our first rotation on the Tech phase. So this works out really nicely, because with the buff from Boo Piccolo, Super 17 hitting a 4 million attack stat, able to finish off the Goku, and then we move on to the Tech one with our very powerful double Buhan rotation here. And then we got the Fat Boo in the final slot. He is fully built up now, but the thing that I have to think about at this point in the event is if he super attacks the STR Buhan or the physical Boo, I'm definitely going to lose a lot more health than I ideally would like to. But I have a quick look at the items. I've only got 1 Whis and 2 Princess Snakes. I don't really want to waste a Princess Snake when I don't have to heal. So I decided to risk it for the biscuit. And fortunately it paid off, because whilst Buhan did take almost 200k from that super, that is way less than either of the other 2 would have taken. So that did actually work out pretty well. And then it leaves us in a good spot for next turn, where I can go ahead and use a Princess Snake to recover some of that HP, as well as get the little bit of damage reduction, so that Super 17 is going to be fine tanking in the first slot. And obviously we've floated off the Boo Piccolo from the previous rotation, so he's not going to be around for next turn, because if we have to put him in front of attacks in this final stage, now that he can't dodge, we absolutely have to make sure that we have an item active, because normal attacks will absolutely shred him. And you can see here, the Fat Boo, he still takes like 45k in this last stage from normal attacks, but considering the amount of damage that some other units take, that's actually not that bad. But we have more attacks in the middle slot, so I go ahead and put Super 17 there. We go ahead and attack with Mira in slot 1. He's getting up to a fairly reasonable attack stat, but his defense is still pretty solid. Remember, Princess Snake is not the best damage reduction item, so we'll see how well he tanks here. Fairly decent attack stat, and then yeah, he's able to tank for double digits. Unfortunately though, he takes the super attack again. But the only good thing about this is the rotation that we have coming up next is going to be the double Buhans, I think, with the LR Boo Piccolo. And there's so much at the start of turn healing on that rotation that we do get quite a lot of our HP back, which will then leave us in a very good spot to go ahead and pop the Whis so that we can get damage reduction and protect the Boo Piccolo. So my LR Boo tanks has been in the 3rd slot most of the events. Obviously he's not as built up as he could be, but every now and then he gets the additional here, so it's pretty solid. I'm basically just trying to keep him building up his defense as much as possible, and I'm holding off transforming him until very close to the end, because obviously being 55% and not having been around for as many rotations to get off as many super attacks, I definitely need him to be pushing his defense as high as possible. So we go ahead and use the Whis for this turn. A little bit unfortunate that both the final slots have 3 attacks, so there's no real best place to put Boo Piccolo. I just have to go ahead and use the Whis and then hope for the best. If Boo Piccolo gets super attacked with a Whis active against the full power Goku, he might actually die. So, you know, I mean, you can kind of sell, spoiler alert, he doesn't get super attacked. But I think in this exact scenario with a Whis active, he might potentially die from a super. But there's the first dodge from Goku, and then he dodges the STR Buhan as well. So I was not happy at this point, let's just say that, because this is when I started to get worried about the overall run, because obviously we've used our last Whis, we have it active now and it will be active next turn. But those attacks from the 2 Buhans would have been some real big extra damage. So the fact that he dodged both of them was very, very unfortunate. So with the Whis active, I know that the Fat Boo is going to be able to tank in the final slot, because we saw him on the previous turns with no items active tanking for about 45k. So with a Whis active, he shouldn't really take much more than 20. And then fortunately, Goku goes ahead and super attacks Super 17. So the combo of his maxed out defense, his own damage reduction, and then of course the Whis layered on top, he takes double digit damage from the super attack. So Super 17, still a beast. You know, we champion that unit around here. We love us some Super 17. Still holding out hope that the a Part 2 LR banner is going to drop soon with an LR Super 17. I'll take either standalone Super 17 or GT 17 and Hellfighter 17 that fuse into Super 17. But if it's one of those two, I'm going to be very, very happy to go in and summon on that banner. And yeah, you can see here with all that damage reduction, we just take double digits with the Fat Boo. So this is working out really well. This is the turn, I think, yeah, this is where we go ahead and transform our LR Boo. Because yeah, we want to get as much damage as possible, because at this point I've only got 1 Princess Snake left, and chances are on the next turn I'm going to have to use it because Boo Piccolo will be in the 3rd slot, is what I'm thinking at the time. And then, of course, I noticed just how close the Dokkan gauge is. So I grab all same type orbs here, and as you can see, we push it right to the brink. So basically, as long as Goku doesn't dodge a whole bunch on this turn, I know that I'm going to be fairly safe, because the Dokkan attack obviously can't be avoided. And yeah, he doesn't dodge the friend Buhan. The friend manages to get the crit, and then he doesn't dodge the additional super. So once this went off, this is when I was starting to feel a little bit more confident that we were actually going to finish the run, because he doesn't crit on the additional, but that's fine. Gets an additional normal, does a nice little bit of extra damage, and then the STR Buhan doesn't get dodged either. No crit from him, so not a crazy amount of damage, 750k, but still fairly decent. And then obviously we've just transformed the 55% Boo in the final slot. He's still hitting a fairly reasonable attack stat, considering he didn't have anywhere near as much time to build up and is 55%. And then he comes through with the additional that doesn't get dodged as well. So this basically seals the deal here. We don't get a crit again, but like his health is so low that I'm basically at the point here where I know pretty much for a fact that Super 17 will kill him with the Dokkan attack, and there's no attack in slot 1. So I could use the item here just to be super safe, but at this point, with the support from Boo Piccolo as well, giving Super 17 all that extra defense, I basically know that even if the Dokkan attack somehow doesn't finish him off, he isn't going to kill me. And then I guess, to be fair, if he dodged Mirror, then I would actually die. But we go ahead and get the Dokkan attack. I'm fairly confident that even if it doesn't crit, he's going to kill full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku here. And so yeah, popping off 4 million attack stat thanks to the support from Boo Piccolo. And then there you go, one big final shocking death ball. No crit needed, the Dokkan attack boosting it to 2.4 million damage, and Goku is out of here. And so there we have it, Power Absorption finally beaten. Very interesting team build. It took me many different goes back to the drawing board, but yeah, we finally managed to get it done. So that is the final mission completed. We can go ahead and collect our tickets and our 5 stones here, and then go ahead and do our final multi on the banner. So far, if you guys have seen every single part, you will know that I've only pulled 1 SSR this entire time, and it is the Goku you fight in the first phase of this event, the STR base form GT Goku. So let's see if we can actually get something good on the final multi here. Vegeta flew in, Super Saiyan 1. I mean, it's not looking promising. No screen crack. Yeah, it's gonna be 7 SRs again, isn't it? I get so unlucky on these tickets. Like, whenever we get like the weekend tickets or all that stuff, like I never pull LRs, or like all the ones they give out for free during the anniversaries and stuff where you get a bunch of free summons. I think I'm yet to pull an LR off of free tickets. So there you go, all of the missions done. We pulled 1 SSR from the tickets, but at least we got the missions done, we got all the stones, and there you go. So that was Power Absorption. Let me know your team build down below. Obviously, if you're still having trouble, I did make a team building guide, make sure to check that out. And yeah, shout out to everybody for checking out the video. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.